First, we've got Alex Chalekian, founder and CEO of Lake Avenue Financial, and Dan Dolev, managing director and sector analyst in Fintech equity research at Mizuho Securities. Welcome to the show, guys. Alex, I'm going to go to you first here. You know, we've seen a transformation in this fintech space, and the pandemic has probably sped up that innovation over the last year or so. Have we only scratched the surface, or are we still in the early innings, basically of this disruption that a lot of these fintech names are causing?
Tom, you took the words right out of my mouth. We are definitely in the early innings, and the pandemic did speed up the situation. Fintech was growing, but at a slower pace. Now with the pandemic, people getting used to utilizing, their apps as opposed to going into the bank to do different services, it's going to be very difficult for them to want to go back. So the adoption of fintech is here and is here to stay.
Yeah, and Dan, if you look at this, as the adoption of this, has taken place in this payment space, what names are you particularly looking at here? You know, we've got the Squares and the PayPals, Visas and MasterCard, but, basically what are the bigger names that probably lead to more innovation down the road?
I think those are the names. I mean, I think you're spot on with Square and PayPal. And the way I think about it is, you want to own names where you don't know where in 5 years they're going to be from an innovation perspective. So today, how many products, for example, the Cash App has, or Venmo or PayPal, which is Venmo's part of PayPal. But you don't know in 5 years how many products they're going to have. You don't know what these products are going to look like. So the kind of the alpha or the upside to those stocks is very high because there's just so much more that's coming down the road that we're not aware of today. What I like less are, names that where you kind of know what the future beholds, right? You want to own the names where there's like a nice, positive surprise down the road. And Square and PayPal by far the best names out there.
Yeah, and Alex, to that point, to Dan's point here, we saw a big pullback about a month ago in a lot of these names, and it kind of was unfounded. Maybe it was just a pullback due to that rising interest rate environment. But to Dan's point, what names in this particular space do you think are going to be maybe, that disruptor that might hurt Visa and MasterCard as opposed to some of the other ones?
Dan is absolutely right. We like Square and PayPal here. If you look at the last year, they have definitely outpaced the markets, as well as MasterCard and Visa. PayPal has been a player that's been in the space for a long time, but with their Venmo product, they had their best year in history. Square is also hitting on all cylinders. Cash App has done real well. They had about 36 million monthly transacting members on Cash App, and that's going to be a driving force for them. They had 52% year-over-year earnings growth, and both of these players will continue to dominate in this space. So we like both of those, and they're the biggest positions right now in our fintech portfolio.
And Dan, you guys did a recent survey, maybe a little bit of pushback as far as the fees go in this fintech space. Give me the rundown here of this survey where you saw people were taking advantage of maybe paying by cash a little bit, getting a little bit of a discount here.
Yeah, this is a great question. So we surveyed 300 consumers, and we asked them about when they do shop at small retailers, gas stations, et cetera, restaurants, are they being offered discounts to pay with cash? And it turns out like over 50%, 50, were offered discounts, and about 90% took the discount. We don't know how many times, but they actually took the discount. And the average discount is about 4%, which tells you how high the fees are that some of those retailers are paying to the merchant acquirers. What's the stock on this? The stock on this is by Square, by Fiserv, which owns Clover. And the reason for that is because those two operators actually give you a very transparent pricing scheme. So they tell you exactly what you're going to pay, which is very different from some of the other acquirers who don't really tell you what you're going to pay, and you end up paying more than you think. So I don't think cash is coming back in a sense, but transparency, which is the most important thing, is going to be sort of the king, and that's going to favor operators like the Squares of the world, the Clovers of the world, at least in our universe.
Yeah, that's interesting there. As the fees, I think, is an important part, and with that innovation, we'll probably see a pushback on that a little bit. But Alex, if you take a look at this space, M&A activity is picking up in different industries across the board. Do you foresee anything in this particular area where we might see some M&A activity?
Yeah, you saw PayPal pick up Curve. And, this is something that they want security in their cryptocurrency. You're going to see more and more M&A as these bigger firms start to pick up little pieces to make their platform better. And, we talked about cash here. There's 85% of the world still uses a lot of cash. And as that number gets smaller and smaller, you're going to see the Visas of the world be able to do better. They unfortunately had a bad quarter last time, but given the pandemic and spending was down, those numbers were pretty good considering. But we'll assume that you're going to see a lot more activity after the summer and continue to grow from here.
And Dan, just real quick here, is there any innovation that's coming down the pipeline out of any of these companies, whether it's offering cryptocurrency trading or anything along those lines that you see might be transformational moving forward?
I think that's a great question. I think that, obviously Bitcoin has been a huge driver for both the Cash App, which is part of Square, and PayPal. And what PayPal did about 2 weeks ago, they opened up checkout with crypto. So basically what that does is it lets you pay with your Bitcoin, et cetera, for certain goods. The question, the way it works right now is that it gets converted into US dollars. So from a merchant perspective, it's still US dollars, but it opens the floodgates to basically cryptocurrency or Bitcoin being a real currency to be used. Now, whether or not that's actually going to happen down the road, we don't know, but they're definitely giving the opportunity for that. And I think that we're all eyes on that to see how that evolves over the next couple of months.
Awesome.
How much it get out of it.
Great. Good stuff there, guys. I appreciate it. That's Alex Chalekian and Dan Dolev. Appreciate you guys being here. That's going to do it for the watch list today.